When we're buying for our classroom, we want to make sure that we get the best bang for our buck, and especially when we're investing in books. So today you're going to learn all about the best books for preschoolers and also how to make sure that you're getting high quality books into your classroom and also into your homes for you parents. Welcome back to the Preschool All-Stars podcast. I'm your host, Joy Anderson, and with me today is my good friend, Christine Sarvey. She has been an educator for the past 7 years, teaching anywhere from the kindergarten age up to 5th grade. She also is an Usborne consultant and has done that for 3 years, bringing the joy of reading into homes across the world. So, Christine, thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So before you got into Usborne Books and More, I need to hear the whole story because I absolutely love Usborne, but we need to go get the whole story from where did you start? Like, where did this passion for teaching and everything begin?
Absolutely, yes. Okay, so I'm a music teacher, so I get to see the kindergarten through the 5th graders all day. And I would say it probably goes back to just my musical career as a student. I loved music, and that's kind of where I wanted to go, and just had a passion for teaching kids. And I worked in a preschool actually when I was in high school and helped out there as well. So I've always had a passion for teaching. And then when my first son came along 3 years ago, I went to my first UBAM, short for Usborne Books and More, my first UBAM party. And I had no idea like what I was getting myself into. But the videos that they like showed during the Facebook party just like really hooked me. And one of the videos said, the lady was talking about how she felt like she knew she could do better for her kids, that she knew she could find a way to help them to learn and really enjoy reading. And I thought, oh my goodness, like I need this for my kids. Like I'm embarrassed to say this, but I didn't really like reading when I was younger. Can you believe it? And I'm a book lady. But anyway, so in the video, she was talking about how, what books did for her kids and stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness, yes, I need this for my kids. I need to make sure that they like to read, that they want to learn, that they enjoy school. And so I bought a couple books. I was a little skeptical, but when I got those first books, and I was like, oh my goodness, like the quality of these books, like the nice hard covers and just like the vibrant colors of the pages, I was hooked. And I joined a couple months later, like I said, because I wanted better for my kids. I wanted more for them. And I just stuck with it. And here I am, and I'm thriving in this book world. And don't tell my boss, but I'm, getting ready to make this my last year of teaching. Just because I love helping families get books into their homes for free and half priced, and helping them learn how to encourage their kids to read, especially those reluctant readers like I was when I was a child. So I've just been having so much fun, and it's where I'm headed next, and I'm really excited about it.
And I think too, this is exactly what is so perfect for you because you had this experience yourself of, growing up, maybe that wasn't your first thing was to go grab a book, right? It wasn't something you enjoyed the process of reading, but going through that fueled your passion for making sure that your own children had a different story to tell as they grew up and that they did have a love for these books. I think of my own kiddos and truly, I mean, they would spend their entire Saturdays reading their books if they could, right? Like going to the library is a joy. Getting new books in the mail is like a grand experience. So I am right there with you, wanting to instill this love of learning, of reading with our children. Okay, so let's dive into it. We're going to be talking about the best books for our preschoolers so that we can get the best bang for our buck in our classrooms and in our homes with our preschool age kiddos. What are some of the best types of books that you love to have around in your classrooms or at home?
Absolutely. So we have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old and a baby on the way.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So our 3-year-old is in that. I mean, he's like 3.5, almost 4. So he's in that preschool stage. So we are right there with you, parents. And what I love about all the books in the library that I've created for our kids through working with Usborne Books and more, is like books are like almost like toys in our house. You know what I mean? Like they're all over the house. They're always going to grab those books, and it has really made him excited about learning. And so when I say, "Hey, it's time to do some preschool stuff," he's like, "Yeah, let's do this," you know? And I think a lot of it has to do with those books. So a lot of the books that we have been using with him are the Usborne books. And some of our favorites right now would be like the wipe clean books, which are really fun, where you can continue to practice those letters and numbers. We also really love all of the lift the flap books. And like this one, like is talking about flowers, and the stems and all that kind of stuff. And this is a kind of book that like if I had these when I was growing up, I would have been like, you know what I mean? Like, think of all the things I would have learned and would have loved coming to those books because, like, they're just so fun, but packed with knowledge, you know?
And I think really
Um,
quick, you had talked about like the lift the flap and the right, what did you
the
call it?
wipe cleans,
So,
wipe
and
cleans.
that's right. So you talked about the lift the flap and the wipe clean books, and those are interactive books. Like I love that, right? So we're bringing not only the love of reading and holding a book that is ours in our hand, but also they're interactive, like being able to lift those flaps. And that's the thing I love too about Usborne Books and More books is that they are so sturdy. So many other books, you lift the flap or rip them right off, but no, these ones last a while. Okay, continue. I'm loving this.
Here's another one that we've been using. Well, we did use a lot at the beginning, but now he's really good with his letters and numbers. But this is like a kind of like a tracing book, but you actually there's like a groove in the book that you can actually like feel the letters. So we really love the finger trail books. And those are good. We've got like capital letters and lowercase letters for those, which are good. I showed this one to your fan club the other day, but the Shine a Light books, like, oh my goodness, like I said, if I had these books growing up, I think things would have been different. And I can see a difference in my kids already, like just that excitement. And no wonder because the books are awesome. Um, but anyway, so like all you do is you just shine the flashlight behind and it reveals a picture behind. And it just makes it so exciting. Let's see. Okay. So many of our fiction books, again, they're engaging, like you can see. But they're just like, they just have like the sweetest stories, like where happiness lives. And okay, one more. I mean, I could show you books all day. Um, but this one, okay, so our nonfiction books, and these are like game changers because they're making nonfiction like you don't even realize that you're learning because it's so fun. So this one's life size and it's really big as you can see. But here it says to give a polar bear a high five, right? So my kids and my friends' kids and the families that I see using these books, they absolutely love those. Those are some of our top 5 right now, especially for the preschool age. Just like really getting them excited about reading.
I absolutely love that. And especially just having all of those, like you said, books in every room, they become almost like toys in the sense that your children will just love to grab them and engage with them. And so, not only that, but also in our classrooms and our homes, we need to just immerse our children and our students with all of the literacy and all of the learning around them. And so having our alphabet letters and our numbers and the colors and shapes and the nonfiction items, right? Like all of our animal themes that we've been talking about or different things we're doing, we can instill all of that love of learning and reading through the books as well. I actually am a huge fan of all the nonfiction books because those are the things that our kiddos can look at and say, oh my gosh, yes, like I love all these, like a book specifically about transportation, right? Or something specifically about science. It's just the pictures come to life. And also, there's just every page has a new thing, right? Some of my favorite books are these really durable ones, and I don't know if you have them there, and of course I don't have them there in my classrooms, but these very thick ones, the 101 transportation trucks, or the dinosaurs, and it's just like pictures of every dinosaur, pictures of every truck. Those are the ones that the boys in my classroom they can't get enough of. They will sit there for just like so long and just, oh yeah, my dad has this one. I like this one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Those are a hot seller for sure. We have tons of those. I think they're like 1,001.
That's right. I was thinking 101
Yeah.
sounds a little bit small of a number. 1,001. Can you imagine turning the pages on this gorgeous, and they're really thick, durable pages. So when you turn them, it's like, that the kids are just sitting there for so long looking at these different pictures. They're super cute. Great also
Exactly.
for a quiet time. I'm thinking of childcare centers or things like that, where we do have our kiddos who maybe have to be on a mat or something, can definitely be looking at these types of books during quiet time, even. I know in preschool we don't do nap time, but for other people, certainly beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's awesome. So we've got all these different types of books we can have. And then I have a question for you. What are some of your favorite strategies to help children build this love of learning? Is there certain things as parents or teachers we can do throughout our day? Do we set aside certain times? Like, how can we instill this to be just not just this thing, oh, there's books, go get a book, but like, how can we build in daily habits that can set our kids up for loving books?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think one of the main ones, especially for me, as when I was younger, like if I had books that were engaging and educational, and we talked about that a lot, and that's what I love about the Usborne books and more. Like they're very engaging. I also think it's really important that parents really focus on the topics that their kids are into. Like I know kids are always kind of hopping around with stuff that they like maybe they're into dinosaurs or maybe unicorns, but just trying to make sure that we have books that are some of their favorite things. You know what I mean? Even as our kids get older, making sure that we know, okay, are you into mystery books? Are you into sci fi? So that we can really help them find books that they want to read. Definitely, like you mentioned, having books all around the house. And especially for younger kids, like preschoolers, having either like you can put baskets like right on the floor, like in the living room, we have this nice basket and we have books in there and we try to switch it out. Like every weekend I try to switch like new books because it's right there, and so they want to go to that rather than maybe picking up a device or something, like they see those books right there. Another strategy would be displaying the book covers. One of my friends said, girl, have you seen my bookshelves? They are stuffed back. They are packed full in there. I don't have room to display. But if you can, even if you set aside some books, you know what I mean? You can strategically display a couple of the covers, like prop them up so that your kids see those and they're like, hey, that looks awesome. I'm going over to the bookshelf to check out the books. And chances are they'll probably pull out a couple more. So displaying covers, that's a good one. And keeping things fresh. Like I was saying, like pulling every weekend, like switching those up. And every time we put the books back on the bookshelf, we, prop them up, prop a couple different ones up to keep that interest going. How about creating like a book nook, like a comfy space for the kids to go to kind of cuddle up and read a good book. What about like for older kids, like setting up like a space for them. Like, okay, here's like a reading lamp next to your bed. Here's a stack of books, like kind of setting them up for, seeing those books and wanting to read. My favorite strategy though, this doesn't work as well with younger kids, but you could still incorporate it on like a smaller level. But with older kids, I always tell parents, like, tell them they can either go to bed or they can read for 20 extra minutes. And they don't even, you can even set bedtime a little bit earlier.
Totally.
But anyway, just giving them that extra time to read. But so even for younger kids, you could say, hey, if we can get through this, like you can get into that really cool book that you wanted to read or something like that. Definitely new books do help to encourage kids. Even if you need to go to the library to grab your books, like to keep to get new books that are going to get your kids excited. But oh my goodness, so my kids get that new UBAM box in the
Yes.
mail. I mean, they go nuts. And they know there's going to be some good books inside. And then I would say probably like last, just modeling reading, especially as parents and teachers, just making sure that we make that a habit of, yes, we are modeling reading, we're modeling learning to our kids, even if there's something that, I'm not so sure about. A lot of times I'll try to use a book that I know we have, like, yeah, I'm not really sure about that. Let's go into our weather book. Let's see if we can figure this out. But just showing them that like you're learning too. And that really helps instill that value of wanting to read and wanting to learn.
Okay, like you just dropped absolute pure gold. Like everybody go rewind, go listen to that portion again. Write it all down. I hope you're taking furious notes. Like every single thing Christine just said is 100% on point with everything I would also say. Like I can picture as you're talking about this, I'm like, yep, there's my my basket of books. There's my book nook that my kids have. There's the reading lamp with the books by their bed. Like every single thing you're talking about. I'm going to touch on just 2 additional things that I love to do because I am such a lover of books as well. One of them is to rotate books. So we will actually take tubs. I mean, we have totes of books and we will put a ton of books into that tote and we will fill it full and we'll stick it in the closet. And then we will rotate books out. And so here's our new books. And oh my gosh. And even if they were not new, but they're new now, the kids just love, oh, I forgot about that book. And so they'll dive back into that. Also, we love to just read stories to the kids. So whether it's just a one time, if they're younger and you're just doing that picture story at the nighttime routine to them, or as they get older to start reading series or even chapter books. And, you're reading a chapter or 2 and man, it's the hardest thing when, the chapters of you're like, hey, bedtime, like, no, it's a cliffhanger. But that's fun. And then probably also watching the movies that come from books. I think that kind of brings things to life too. Is super fun.
Yeah, I love those.
So much gold that you dropped. Thank you so much for bringing this to us. So everyone, be sure to go add tons of books to your classrooms and to your homes. Make sure there's books in every room. And of course, you're going to want to follow our girl, Christine. So what I need you to do is click the link in the description or the show notes because she has an amazing ability for you to earn free books by hosting parties or even being able to create income for yourself and get free books and amazing discounts with you being a consultant for Usborne books and more. So is there anything else you'd like to say, Christine, before we go?
Sure. One more thing. You were talking about like discounts and stuff like that. One of the other things that we do is actually book fairs. So like with your preschools and stuff like that, you can do a book fair where you get a 50% return in free books for your preschool, which is just awesome. So I wanted to give you a little bit of that information as well. We also do fundraisers and all kinds of things. So there's definitely lots of options out there.
Okay, 50% back in books. I will take it 100% all the time. I love that. So definitely click the link in the description or the show notes to be able to join Christine's team, either as a consultant or hosting a party, a book fair, a fundraiser. She has everything that you need. If you need books in your classroom or homes, you need to talk to Christine. So again, thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Thank you.
If you love today's episode, then you are going to love this. I want to give you a free gift in your hands. This is a copy of my book, Start Your Preschool, and I want to get it to you for free. Yes, I said for free. It is a 300-page book. It'll help you learn the step-by-step process to actually starting your local or your online preschool. Every single step that I walked myself through, as well as the thousands of women who've created their own successful preschools have gone through the exact steps listed in this book. Not to mention, I also share 20 amazing women's stories. So you can see how not only did it work for me, but it works for amazing women just like you as well. I want to get you this free copy. Just go to freepreschoolbook.com or click the link in the description and we'll get it to you today. Again, just go to freepreschoolbook.com and we'll get it right to you.